Om Sadashivasamarampham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Okay, so we are talking about the birthless nature of the self. Okay, 26th verse we saw last time, right? Okay. Any questions, clarifications, or shall we go ahead? Okay, then it's the same idea. The whole idea that is continued is there is no real change in the Atma. There is a creation which is more of a manifestation than a creation without any real change in the nature of consciousness. Okay. So now he is saying the same idea in the 27th verse from a different standpoint. Okay, one second. Some people are joining now. Let me just. Okay, he says, Sato hi mayaya janma yujyate na tu tatvatah tatvate jayate yasya jatam tasya hi jayate. Sato hi mayaya janma yujyate na tu tatvatah. From Sat existence that we have seen in the previous Upanishads, Sadaiva Saume Idamagramasi Tekameva Advitiyam Brahman. That's Sat we are talking about. Any manifestation that can come out of it can only be through Maya, not Tattvataha, he says. Not Tattvataha. In fact, any Janma is Maya, not Tattvataha. Okay, we'll see that how. Tattvato Jayate Yasya, Jatam Tasya Jayate. If you say it's really born, then what is there only is being born, he says. What is that? Okay. Let us say from a clay, a lump of clay, a pot is born. Correct? Real birth. Okay. This is a third chapter, verse 27. Yeah. Mandukya Karika. So, now look at it. From clay, the pot is born. Is the pot that is born, did it exist before and not exist before?
The potential was there.
If the potential was there, the pot already exists as a potential.
Yes.
Then what is being born or created is only manifesting a potential.
Yes.
You can't manifest something that is not there, already inherent in the cause. Therefore, if you are saying the creation is real, what is real? Jatam tu jayate. What is already there is being born. Therefore, at any level, there is no real creation. In fact, even if you are talking about things modified and created, like pot and clay, creation is a zero-sum game. From something you create something. What happened to that something? That is gone, this came here. From the earth you dug a hole. There's a hole there, but there's a lump of mud here. It's always a zero-sum game. So, those who talk about creation don't really understand that physics principle that matter and energy cannot be created. But we accept in the functioning world a transformation. Because both matter, energy, material, etc. are finite things. Therefore, some sort of transformation is possible. What when you're talking about the limitless? When you're talking about the limitless, what transformation are you talking about? there cannot be a transformation, no? Because there is limitlessness. In the limitless, there can be no transformation. Because any transformation has to be within time and space. So the clay, you can talk about transformation. But you can't talk about transformation of a limitlessness. And even in the clay, what transformation are we really talking about? Just some sort of rearrangement. Yeah. Some sort of rearrangement. Yeah. And that's why now there is a big debate going on. There are so-called real diamonds which nature has produced, and what we call artificial diamonds produced in a lab. Now all the jewelers or the diamond merchants are gathering together and say, it is not artificial, it is lab grown. Don't use the word artificial. Because in molecular structure, etc., 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 it is identical as a real one, as a natural one. So now you have to say natural or lab grown. I'm sure in time everything will be lab grown. Why? Food is already started, no? I was in UK for the yoga festival, staying in a friend's place. I ate meat without meat. There is no meat in it. But the feel and the texture is like meat. The protein content is like meat. But the cholesterol, etc. is not there. And coffee without coffee we have been having for a long time. No caffeine in the coffee, decaffeinated. Coffee का मजा ही चलेगा. Yeah, we are typical South Indians. We will add 20% chicory to make the caffeine real more potent. What are you giving a decaffeinated coffee? So what I am trying to say is, it's all some rearrangement, that's all. Where is creation? At any level, creation is not real. But there seems to be some sort of change in the functional world. But with respect to existence awareness, what change can you have? The limitless cannot have any change. Therefore, any manifestation that you see, maya hi jatam, there is no real thing. It's first we'll say manifestation, then once you can accept manifestation, not creation, we'll shift further to say just an appearance. The clay itself is appearing as a pot, correct? No? Really speaking, clay is appearing as a pot. Cloth is appearing as a kurta. In some it is more evident, in some it is less evident, that's all. The difference is only there, how much evident it becomes to your naked eye. Yeah. To the naked eye, your nature created diamonds or lab grown diamonds appear same. Yeah. I'm sure in time we will make, technology has to catch up, some sort of an atomic mishmasher. So what do you have? Oh, I have some iron pieces here. And what do you want? Some gold. Okay, here, put it in. With all the atomic weight reduction, etc., etc., you will get some gold coming out. I think it's only then our fascination with gold will go. But entirely feasible. Entirely feasible. Yeah. Because both are appearances anyway. Of what? Of Sat existence. Yeah.
Swami, it is possible now also.
Why?
As per Rahul Gandhi,
Oh yeah, he'll put potato and on the moon, that also. Yeah. And, okay. Then the next verse is handling the Shunyavadins. Okay. Those who believe that behind the creation there is no absolute existence. Okay. Everything is relative. Okay. That he is saying. Asato maya janmaha tattvataha naiva yujyate vandya putro na tatvena maya vapi jayate. He says from asat maya tattvata va na jayate naiva yujyate. From sheer non-existence nothing is born, he says. Because whatever is born or whatever is manifest has an apparent reality. It has to exist. And from non-existence, you cannot have existence. From non-existence, you will only have non-existence. And for which he gives an example, old example, Vandya Putraha. What's a Vandya Putraha? A woman who is not capable of giving birth to a child. Okay? That person is called a Vandya. Okay? Tattvataha na mayena avapi jayate. There cannot be a real birth or an apparent birth of a child from a Vandya, he says. No, this Vandya has a child. How? Adopted. Okay, adopted we'll accept. But adopted is Maya, okay? Yeah. He says, but from non-existence, nothing is born. So, Shunyam or non-existence cannot be the basis for this world. Why? Because everything that you deal with is a form of existence. Every ornament, golden ornament, is a form of gold. Silver ornament, form of silver. From existence, you can have a form of existence. From non-existence, you can only have forms of non-existence. And forms of non-existence are not really valid. What is the difference between the non-existence of a pot and the non-existence of a cloth? Yeah. So you can't say from non-existence of cloth has come, non-existence of pot has come. No, non-existence, nothing can come. There cannot be a form or a concept without a reality behind it. You can have the reality free from the concept, manifestation. Or you can have the reality as the basis for the manifestation. But you cannot have a manifestation or a concept without a reality. We have so many concepts of ourselves because there is I reality that I recognize as I. Now, because I don't know what I am, there are concepts of I. And if there are so many concepts of reality, it only shows people don't know what the reality is. They're struggling with trying to understand what it is. That's all it shows. The more the concepts, more the ignorance. Because all concepts are projections on the reality. A rope can be mistaken for half a dozen things. Snake, line of water, crack on the earth, so many things you can mistake it as. Why? Because I don't know what the reality there is rope. If I knew it was rope, there would be no mistake. I would only say it looks like a snake, interesting. Yeah, maybe I can take it home, paint it nicely and put it in my drawing room as a piece. Not in my drawing room. My drawing room is so full of so many things. If they see a snake, they'll think there is really a snake. Even if it is a piece. So, There it is. From non-existence, nothing can come. Okay. Okay. Then goes further. Yatha swapne dvaya bhasam spandate maya manaha तथा जागृद्वया भासं spandate maya manaha. Says yatha swapne, like how in the dream, dvaya bhasam, an appearance of duality, spandate is projected, my maya through the mind, maya manaha spandate, through maya the mind projects in dream. Says Tatha, in the same manner, Jagrat Dvaya Bhasam. In the Jagrat also, the appearance of duality, Spandate Maya Manaha. Same way he says. If at all in the world, you may require some physical action to back it up. But all creation is what? Conception on the reality, isn't it? There's something which is there. Then in dream, if you think, it is there. Okay? Drishta Srishti. What is the Drishyam itself is Srishti. You see and it is there. You conceive, it is there. Oh, but the world is Srishtasya Drishti. What is there you see. Yeah. You saw what? Some cloth lying there. Then you saw something else. I can make it into a kurta. So you saw the kurta and the cloth and made it. If you didn't see the kurta and the cloth, can you make it? If you can't see the pot in the clay, you can't make it. If you can't see the murti of Krishna in the stone, can you make it? Same way. Yeah. So what is creation? Basically, yes. Manaha Maya Spandate, he says. The mind projects it, conceives of it through Maya. In the world, some physical backup may be necessary.
Swamiji.
Yes, Amma.
So the clay itself is not your conception, no?
The clay will be if you go to a deeper level.
Okay.
What is clay? Some silica, earth material, etc. Then molecules, etc. Then you have to go further. Then finally, you come to pure existence only. Yeah. Yes, Anchit, you have a question.
Yes, Swamiji. So the dream can be the jiva's conception.
Yeah.
The reality during waking, can it be jiva's conception or is it Ishvara's conception?
Ishvara's conception. For the functional aspect, you will say Ishvara's conception. But within there, nobody lives in Ishvara's world. We live in the world we are made out of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
A physicist and a biologist will look at the same thing and look at have two different explanations. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. This happened when my father was dying. We knew he was going, and we were happy that we didn't take him to the hospital, etc. Because we knew he was going and it was time for him to go. But when his breathing started, that deep breathing before death started, death rattle as you call it, we called the doctor because let the doctor certify he is dead, because you need that. So the doctor is looking and speaking in purely biological terms about the brain closing down. I am looking at the same thing. I am seeing all the energy patterns in the same thing. Entity is same. You are seeing in terms of what is there in your mind. Your eyes can see only what the mind knows. Your eyes can see only what the mind knows. If the mind doesn't know a thing, how are you going to see it?
Yeah.
Remember my example of my foreign friend coming and he sits on the opposite side of the pot and says, "You all eat on very low tables." He thought the pot was a table because the pot is not there in American culture. Even in India, it's there only in Maharashtrian culture. A pot. A part is a low thing that you sit.
Uh-huh.
You sit on the wooden, small little wooden
Right,
thing.
right, right. Palagai.
Yeah, that you palagai that you'll say
Uh-huh.
in that you use for pujas and all. You sit
Right,
on
right.
it. Same thing. You sit on that even for a meal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So if you come from a culture where it's not there, you don't see it. You will interpret it in terms of what you know. Yeah. It's like this priest walking into a temple and saying, "Why are all Indians gods black? Because they are black, they want to make their gods also black. We make it out of granite so that whatever happens, the granite will remain granite. It won't wear off easily because every day we pour milk, oil, water, and all sorts of stuff on it. We don't want it to wear away. That's the reason. It is indestructible. But he is seeing out of his bias, whatever, what is there in his mind. The priest was actually Saint Francis Xavier. So the Pope tells him, go debate with them. He said, I did outside the temple in Trichandur. What happened? They laughed at me. They said, your idea of God and religion is very superficial and childish. Oh, so they out-debated you. He came to convert. That's why in Goa all conversion was done at the point of a sword, using Portuguese laws. Yeah, we can celebrate Christmas, but we should remember these facts also. Nothing wrong in celebrating Christmas with your Christian friends. Please do that. Okay, no issues. Yeah, but recognize this also. And recognize it's on this day that Guru Gobind Singh's family is martyred. Okay, don't lose sight of that as well. It's also the days of Tulsi Vivaha, the Tulsi Puja. Okay, yeah. So a lot of things are packed on one day, except the birth of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ's birth is not mentioned in the Bible. The Romans had a festival of Saturnia, where they would worship sun as Devata, Surya Devata. Why? Because the winter solstice. Those days it was 25th. Now it is 22nd. 21st, 22nd. That time it was 25th. So they converted into Son of God. And so Sun God, it became Son of God. And they used to get all the plants to keep them inside to preserve them through the winter. So that got converted into the Christmas tree. That's how the whole thing came about. But you can still enjoy Christmas, not a problem. You have Christian friends, enjoy it. Go, have some nice plum cake. Yeah. My quota is to come. It'll come. Saturday, Sunday, it'll come. Aata hai sab. Everything comes to me. Yeah. It's fine. Prasad hai, kha lo, acha hai. Anything from the Lord is prasada. We have no issues on that. Yeah. Until recently, until COVID, I used to get prasad from Mecca. The Zamzam water and some dried fruits. So, we have no issues. They have issues with us. We don't have issues. Why? Yeah, conceptually, you want to conceive it like that primitive concept. But when it comes to impinging my freedom, etc., then I'll be different. Okay? Yeah. Like today in the paper, there was a flyer kept about the glories of Jesus and how he died to save our sins. Actual glossy paper they must have spent a lot of money in this. But no name of the church, no name of the organization, nothing. Because then they can't be accused of attempted conversion and things like that. See, we also put flyers and papers inviting people for Swamiji's talks, etc. We are given name, address, everything. Yeah. You are open and honest. This is what we are. If you want to come, come. If you don't want to come, don't come. Yeah. Anyway, that apart. All that apart. Conceptual. Even what are religions? Concepts, no? including our own. It's a concept of relating to Ishvara, isn't it? You can't relate to Ishvara as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, therefore you make concepts out of it. Intelligent concepts or primitive concepts, one of the two things. You go to the tribes in India, they have primitive concepts. Like I have interacted with tribals, nothing new for me. Like in Maharashtra, in the tribals, Palghar district, if you go interior, they'll all relate to Vagoba. Goddess is riding on a tiger. So we say, oh, that's Durga. Okay, fine. But for them it is not Durga, for them it is Vagoba. Okay. Yeah. So, you have tribal concept, you have this concept. It's fine. Finally, you have to come to the understanding what it's non-conceptual. Non-conceptual reality, Nirgunam Brahman. Yat Satyam Jnanam Anantam iti pradurshitam. That's what the reality is. Okay. Alright. Therefore, yes, Anshul.
So, Swamiji, one more question regarding the Shunyavadin's standpoint. So, they are saying like, so question regarding Shunyavadin's standpoint.
Yeah.
So, they are saying that there is no substantial, there is no, so things are coming out of nothing.
Yeah.
Are they saying that because they consider the entire creation to be a mental concept, therefore
In a way, they, yeah.
to exist? Okay.
Yeah. But the only thing is, there is no reality behind that concept. That's the problem there. So when they say the whole thing is mithya, we are willing to accept that part of it. But for them, the mithya is without adhisthana. That is the problem.
Yeah.
Niridhisthana.
No adhisthana.
Yeah, no adhisthana. That's like saying the snake that you see is mithya. Oh, it's a rope. No, there is no rope. What does that mean? Where is my stick gone? Because without adhisthana,
So-
if you say something is mithya, it has to be real then, functionally at least. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the problem.
So even if it's
Yeah.
So even if it's a mental conception, the existence and awareness should be preceding
Exactly.
it.
Preceding it. And
There
for
is
them,
no
the
conception.
self is also mithya. There is nothing like Atman.
Yeah.
Atman or I is a mithya concept born of an illusion. Flickers of consciousness keep coming and going. See, they looked at the mind. What is mind?
Yeah.
One thought, two thoughts, again. Mind keeps changing, is thought after thought. And every thought, consciousness is manifest.
Yeah.
So they took at that and said that therefore the reality of I is an illusion created by these thoughts. Instead of thought, they said Vijnanam, consciousness. Therefore, it says the flow of consciousness creates an illusion of permanence. Some of those arguments in the next chapter will be used by Gaudapada. Why? Useful. If you want to dismiss something, it's useful. So he uses some of those arguments. Okay. Yeah, Karthik, you have a question.
Yes, Swamiji. So by extension of Sanchit's question, what
Yeah.
would be the definition of moksha for a Shunyavadin?
Experience of Shunya. Being in the Shunya Avastha.
I
That's
see.
why it never works. Because you'll always experience yourself as I am. And I have tried this. I have met a lot of Buddhist masters. Really great people, okay? I have respect, deep respect for them. And I always bow down to them and say, unto the Buddha my salutations. And they will always respond, I am only a Bodhisattva, not the Buddha. Why? Because I have not experienced Shunyata yet. You will never experience Shunyata. Because you already exist always as I. You can have a state of Samadhi. But yourself as Shunya, you will never experience. State of Samadhi possible. That's not difficult at all. No, Nirvana for them is permanent once you are in Shunya Avastha. It is not Kshanika. Yeah. Think it over. Yeah, Anu, you have a question.
Namaste, Swamiji. Just to follow up on this discussion, I had a question. So for us, the Adhishtanam is obvious because reality for us is that which cannot be negated.
Yeah.
But for the Buddhists, that must not be their definition of reality,
No, it is not.
right?
It is not.
Because, okay, so it comes down to these different definitions of
Exactly.
ultimate reality.
In fact, their definition
you.
is shunyata, absence of everything. So I had a lot of discussion with them also, and then when I discuss with the Zen masters or the Taoist masters, which are slightly different from Buddhism, they will say it is not really shunyata exactly as shunya, non-existent. It is non-conceptual. So then I always told them, then let's call it non-conceptual reality, and they have accepted that. In my personal discussions, and this is not a public format, okay, personal discussion. They always said yes, non-conceptual reality is acceptable. I have not coined a new term, okay, it's Nirgunam Brahman. The same thing. I just put it in a manner which is acceptable to them, that's all. Yeah. So non-conceptual reality, which is fine. Yeah. Because one thing I like about the Buddhists, especially the Zen masters and everything, there is nothing, I mean, they will never take it anything study for granted. When they commit to a study, they commit. Their life and soul is there in it. We are slack comparatively. Our discipline is slack, our commitment is slack, our efforts are very slacking. Not as Zen Buddhists. Yeah. And I am talking not only about lay people who are studying it, I am also talking about full-timers. Full-timers will come to the ashram and say, hey, food is not good here. You come for the food of a learning. You're eating now, surviving now. Yeah, enough. That's how we took it. Yeah. But, yeah. Oh, so like somebody called me up. Samji, do you know any of our ashrams are there who will take students? I said, yeah, Coimbatore is there. So how do I get in? I said, apply to them. Samji, I applied to them 2 weeks back, there's no reply. So I said, send them a reminder, call them up. The number is there on the website, call them up. So he called them up. So the office said, yeah, we'll patch you on to Swamiji and then we'll talk. He said, yeah, you are. So Swamiji told them through the office, yeah, he's accepted, he can join, he can come in Jan. Then he calls me up again after 2 hours. Swamiji, they said this, but I have not received a confirming mail. I said, wait, na. They have told you, wait. If you don't get a mail in Jan, up to Jan, then this is 1 week back, okay? You know how it is in a Zen monastery? You go, there is a room outside, small little room. And there's a bell. You ring the bell and you sit. How long? Until they let you in. So how long will that take? Not 20 minutes as he called me up. Samji, I have not received a mail. No. It can be 2 hours. It can be until sunset. It can be 3 days. It can be a week. You wait. Just that. You wait. Yeah. The more impatient you seem, the longer will be the wait. And just because the door opens and you walk in to meet the abbot doesn't mean that you are confirmed entrance. Huh? You got a meeting with the abbot, that's all. Okay, then he says, all right, you can stay. Then what are you doing? For 6 months you are doing only seva, sweeping the ashram floor. Whole day, it's a spread out place, it takes a long time. Just sweeping. You wonder how long am I going to just sweep? And they are very particular how you sleep also. It is not sweeping. It is developing deliberate, conscious activity. Letting your mind slow down. Being awareful, mindful of what is being done. So 6 months will go before you are even allowed to sit in a class. If I run an ashram like that, won't be people will run away. क्या है ये महाराज जी क्या कर रहा है? Don't worry, I will have my own exercises. So, the non-conceptual reality is the basis for all that you see and nothing. Okay, all right. Yatha swapne. So, yatha swapne tata jagrate eva manaspandate. Mind is creating all your duality. Advayam cha dvayabhasam manaswapnena samshayah. Advayam cha dvayabhasam tate jagratna samshayah. Advayam cha dvayabhasam. The non-dual reality in dream is appearing as all the duality through the mind. Manaha swapne na samshaya. So as far as dream is concerned, nobody has a doubt. Some people have a doubt. Samji, I saw this in dream. I heard dreams come true. Narayan. Thank God all your dreams don't come true. Okay, mar jayega. Okay. Advayam cha daya bhasan tatte jagrat na samjha. Same way in duality. As long as your mind is functioning, there is duality, isn't it? When the mind stops functioning, either in deep sleep or in meditation, where is the duality? Between any two thoughts, where is duality? It's thought after thought, no? Between two thoughts, where is the duality? Coming and tell me. So the whole duality is based on your mind alone. In dream, it is very evident. That is why in the first chapter and in the second chapter, he spent so much of time saying how dream and waking are not all that different as far as reality is concerned. Jagrat swapnavat mithya drishyatvad hetunaha. We've seen that. Because drishyatvad, whatever yad drishyam tad mithya, that is a vyapti. Yad drishyam tad mithya. Whatever is seen is mithya. Yatha swapne. Swapne is very clear. Jagrata api, because drishyatvad. As long as there is subject-object divide, there is mithya. It cannot be real. Then only difference between dream and waking will be what you will say. This functional validity. So when did functional validity become ground for satyam? In fact, my definition is the other way around. Whatever is functionally valid is mithya. Example, flat earth, blue sky. Yeah, examples are available. When I give a logic, it should be demonstrable. Should we have an example? Example hai na? Flat earth, mithya. Blue sky, mithya. Functionally valid. Time, mithya. Functionally very valid, na? Yeah. So, mithyatum. Mana eva spandate. There is no real duality. So in a way, drishti eva srishti, even in waking. Even though we say with respect to Ishvara, we are saying this. Correct, it's with respect to Ishvara. But even human being, what is the big difference? Only I didn't create it. Yeah. I didn't create it, but that's the only thing. Yeah. But the whole conceptualization is old. Manaspandate. Okay. Further, another verse on the same thing. Mano drishyamidam dvaitam yakinsecha characharam manasa hi amani bhave dvaitvam na upalabhyate. Okay. Mano drishyamidam sarvam. Mano drishyamidam dharmam dvaitam yat kincharacharam. The movable and the immovable, living and non-living, all of them. Manasa drishtam. This much is clear. You see it, all these things. How do you say something is there? Because you know it says. Otherwise, how can you say what is there? Like you can't say what is there in my pocket. For the simple reason you don't know what is there. No? You may not even be able to guess. साधु का पॉकेट है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. All of us have something called EDC, you know. What is EDC? Everyday carry. When you go out, before you go out, you put things into your pocket. No? See, even though I'm not going out, I still put some things into my pocket. Like I'm sure nobody would have guessed this thing in my pocket. Bunch of keys. This you normally take when you go out. No? And why have you put it in your pocket now? Samji, you're planning the class, so you planned this as an example? No. Practical thing. I open the door for people to come in, etc. Supposing I step out and the door closes, class will be delayed. I'll have to go to Sunita's place to get my duplicate key and come and open it. Simple. But don't be too sure it'll be there next class. Yeah. Okay. So, mano drishyamidam dvaitam yad kinchit sa characharam. Because you see it, it is there. Or rather you say it is there because you can see it. Okay. Characharam. Manasa hi amani bhave dvaitam naiva uparabhyate. When the mind is no more mind, meaning it is no more functioning. Amani bhavam. Amani bhavam can be various things. Right now, for this verse, take it as not functioning. And the mind is not functioning. He says, where is Dvaitam? Like I said before, in deep sleep, samadhi, etc. Where is Dvaitam? Not there. So can you say, for half an hour duality is not there, for 6 hours duality is not there, otherwise duality is there? What comes and goes is never there, really there. What comes and goes is not really there. What is really there has to be always there, like you are always there. Whether you are in samadhi, you are in deep sleep, you are in waking, you, I the consciousness, avastatraya sakshi that we saw in the first chapter, always there. So you become Satyam, everything comes and goes. Everything else comes and goes. Yeah. So what are the nuances of Amani Bhava? He'll say that. Okay. Atma Satyanubodhena na sankalpayate yada amanastam tadhayati grahyo bhave tadagraham. Atma Satya Anubodhena. When I realize I am Satyam, Aham Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Brahma Aham Asmi iti. How do you know it? Through the pramana. Okay. Shastra Rupena Guru Mukha. Okay, once you understand that, he says, I know that. Then, na sankalpate yata. After that, you don't take anything as reality. Once you really understand you are the reality, how can anything else be taken as reality? Nothing else is real. This is really Amani Bhava, okay? The other is experiential Amani Bhava. The other is experiential. This is in terms of reality. You are recognized that Atma, I alone am real. I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Everything else is an appearance. You cannot understand I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman without having insights that things are not real. And when you understand I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, things really become unreal. You recognize that unreality even more, not less. Because everything is a manifestation. You understand that very well. As well as you understand that all kurta, shirt, etc. is manifestation of cloth. All ornaments are manifestation of gold. All pots are manifestation of clay. As well as you understand that, if not more, you will understand whole world is nothing but manifestation of I Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Not my mind. Mind was for starting point. As a recognition of duality. Now we are shifted to the reality, not mere recognition. I recognize I am. Everything is what? Manifestation of I existence. Because that existence as manifest has to be understood as I. Na? Only then understanding is complete. Otherwise you say, oh, there was one existence and that existence became the world. Yeah. That's primitive. That's half understanding. That existence that is manifest as the universe is me. And if you are saying, how can I be that? The sense of I is lost in your stomach. Okay. Yeah. I have taken myself as the body. That's the whole problem. Therefore, can you see how why that negation becomes important? Your shift of identity becomes important. I'm very happy if people shift from the roles to the self. We are so caught up in our roles only. We define ourselves by our roles, by something so external. Just because you spent a lot of time in that role. From the role to the body and mind, from the body and mind to I, the Sakshi, the witness of the whole thing. That shift is necessary. All meditative experiences are meant to make that shift. All acts of devotion are meant to develop a certain sense of quietness in your mind so that this shift can be made. Acts of devotion are part of Karma Yoga. This is part of Upasana meditation, to keep your mind quiet and then to shift to I, Sakshi.
Acts of
Devotion. Yeah. Why? Because acts of devotion cultivate the bhakti in you. So with bhakti there is acceptance of situations, facts, everything. You recognize Ishvara everywhere. So mind is peaceful, less disturbed. Then this shift can be made. Your anxiety, etc. keeps you caught up in the role. You can't drop that role. I mean, many students of Vedanta has found, na, something happened, their child is at risk or something like that, all Vedanta got out of the mind. The whole thing becomes me mama or me papa functioning. You think if you make that shift, you can't function equally well? Function is dependent on your commitment. And what are you capable of doing? That can always be there. Yeah. That can always be there. Yeah. So, that is the whole thing, okay? Therefore, amanastam tada yati. Amanastam. You are no more taking the mind as yourself. That means what? None of the conclusions of the mind that this is real, that is there, this, etc., is any more real. See, the book is not telling me I am different from you. Your perception is not telling you that. But based on the perception, your mind is making a conclusion. Book is different from you. So all duality is a conclusion of the mind. Once that mind is educated in what the reality is, will that conclusion survive? It will survive only for functional purposes. A class class book kidhar gaya? Do you really need a book for the class? No, not really. But people are following verses, this, that, because they want to complete an Upanishad. Swami Chinmayanji used to say, they want to finish an Upanishad. It is a bucket list of what? Tick one off, tick one off. The Upanishad gives you a scaffolding to understand yourself. So it's a particular paradigm of approach, etc. Just that much. Like he had said before, na? Prakriya, avataraya. Yeah, so each Upanishad is a prakriya only for avataraya. So, then what is amanastam? None of these conclusions are taken as real, they are only functionally valid. They are not real. And the only reality that is there. Amanastam tadayati grahya bhave tad agraham. Then what? Then even that subject-object divide, how much is there? If everything is a manifestation. See, when you start studying Vedanta, you are starting with Drigdrishya Viveka, isn't it? Seer seen. Really? There is a hidden statement there. All that is there is one Brahman alone. How can that be? Then you start Drigdrishya Viveka until you come to consciousness. So the Drigdrishya Viveka that we started off is only a prakriya to come to Nirgunam Brahman. Just a prakriya. Yeah. Finally, what is there? Only one Nirgunam Brahman. Then where is Drigdrishya? There is no difference in Drigdrishya, really. This is one manifestation here, there is one manifestation there. Between the two manifestations, there can be Drigdrishya. I am looking at you, you are looking at me. Who is the Drig? Who is the Drishya? Yeah. Really speaking, there is neither Drig nor Drishya, there is only one Chaitanya, one consciousness alone. Amanastam. No more stuck in mental concepts. No more stuck in them. You may use them. Why? Okay. Now I am what? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Abhi kya karne ka hai? The question, abhi kya karne ka hai, it does come from what? Concept. Because, let us say you got it at 50, you still have 20, 30, 40 years to live. What are you going to do? Function of the duality, na? But no more taking it as real, taking it as just functional. Yeah. Taking it as functional, no more real. Where is the reality there? There is no reality. Mandukya Karika doesn't even accept a functional reality. He says there are only two states, pure ignorance or ignorance and projections. So ignorance plus projections include waking and dream both as one. Both are projections. Or pure ignorance, deep sleep. That's it. It, because we are functioning in the world, we are constrained to say, no, this is slightly different. How much different? Not really. It's all conceptual differences only. It is like Sam Manakshaw was asked, he was born in Bombay as an accident. His mother was going to Karachi, where her husband was practicing as a gynecologist, so that she will give birth there. But the labor pain started in Bombay, so she stayed back with relatives in Bombay, and Sam Manakshaw was born in Bombay. So someone asked him, what if you had born in Karachi? Oh, then I would have been on the other side. Pakistan would have won. Politicians got angry at that statement. I said, thank God he was born in Bombay. Because I know what a man he was. What I am saying is, all these are what? It's purely accidental, or karma, you can say, that he was born here. Accident, karma, all this all conceptual, isn't it? India, Pakistan, conceptual, isn't it? So at the level of functioning, you're willing to be killed or killed. Either to kill or be killed. You're ready for that. Knowing what? Na hanyate, na hantaram. Knowing that you function. Ityesha paramarthatah. This is the absolute reality. Everything else is some talk going on. Okay. Think it over. We cut across a huge topic today. A good place to stop. Okay. We'll have more. Next class we'll see more of this. Om Tat Sat.